Duffield with mattduffieldtrading.com, and tonight we are looking at AXPW and WPCS. These were two big runners of the day. And before we get started, I want to remind you the video is for informational and educational purposes only. I'm not a registered investment advisor, and neither is mattduffieldtrading.com. So please do make your own trading decisions. Okay, so AXPW, I've actually been in and out of this one a couple times over the past week. It's been a hot play, pretty much my favorite. I normally find one hot penny stock, and hopefully, if it's not just a one-day wonder, I try to trade and follow it all throughout the week or until it dies off. AXPW continues to show strength. A lot of traders are waiting on news of a contract. And yesterday was the deadline, September 13th. And as of yet, we haven't seen any news. So that being said, this morning, we saw a gap lower to, I think it opened at 217 and then just shot higher up into the 270 range. It was on weak volume, and price quickly came back down, and I sold at I think it was actually 248, which looked okay at the time. It was right here, actually. I did feel like prices were going to move lower, and they did, there was a brief dip to the 230s, and then from then on, it was a day-long rally. I just didn't like how the 250 and the 260 range were holding prices down. This has been going on for days. If you come out, let's get a bigger time frame here, maybe 12 days. There you go. There's the 260 level. You can see I got stopped here at 250. Couldn't break back above 250 here. And same thing this morning. That being said, I planned on buying in if it could break 260, which it did right around lunchtime, just after lunchtime, heading into the 1 o'clock hour. And I just got cold feet. I didn't like the price action. It still seemed kind of weak. I didn't buy back in. I missed a big gain here. It happens. I'm not too worried about it. But now with this huge move up, tagging the 320 level, the risk is definitely higher. I didn't feel comfortable holding this overnight, and especially with this big 30-cent move lower in the last 5 minutes of trading. That was kind of scary. So holding overnight does hold risk. There's pretty much three options that could happen if news comes out. Let's say news comes out and it's very positive. Axion gets the contract as expected. Everything goes through. I could definitely see this opening at $5 a share, which is not quite a double from here, but close to it. It could even open at $6. Who knows? So there is like 100% upside on that kind of news. Another potential is that the deadline is extended once again, which it was done 30 days ago. It could be done again. I would assume on an extension, this would gap lower to probably 220. So offhand, I don't know, that's maybe a 30% drop from here, 25% drop. And then worst case scenario, the contract just doesn't go through. This whole thing fails, and I could easily see this opening around $1.80, $1.50. So you could be looking at a 50% drop. So the upside is worthwhile, but it made more sense back when this was $2 or $2.20 a share. The upside potential was much greater than the downside. Now it's a little more scary. And then there's the event that no news comes out tomorrow. And in that case, you can see this thing has been trading very well without news. I'll show you what I was watching on Friday. Technically, there was an inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's kind of sloppy. It's not perfect. I'll try to just draw in something here for you real quick, give you an idea what I'm talking about. There you go. There's the head, and then the right shoulder. Yeah, I didn't draw that very well. And then this would be the neckline there. Actually, that's not the right. Let me try to get rid of that. Should look more like this. There we go. Okay, so with that inverse head and shoulders pattern, um, a breakout above 260 confirms a breakout. Sure enough, that's what you see right here about 1 o'clock today. And the price target of this thing measures to, it's a 90-cent height from the neckline to the bottom here. So you add 90 cents to 260 and you get $3.50 per share. So I do think this has a possibility of having an early morning rally to 350, or it could even gap to say 320 and quickly spike in the first 10 or 15 minutes to 350. That is what I'm looking for. But with that late day sell-off to 290, it's very possible that price will continue lower. But I think 280 would be a good support level for this rally, this uptrend to continue, and for price to have a shot at $3.50. So watch 280 in the morning. If it bounces there, it might be a good dip buy. Obviously, if it can't hold 280, I think 250 is the next level that's going to be touched. So, like I was saying, it is a little more risky buying at this 290 or $3 level, because let's say you buy in at 290, today's close. You've got 40 cents of downside and about 60 cents of upside. It's still in favor. It's just not a huge, it's not that great of a risk to reward for a buyer. So this does tend to spike in the early morning. We've seen that many times. So it's going to be very tempting for me to buy this in the morning if it does dip to 280. And then, hopefully see a morning spike in the first 10, 20 minutes of trading and take a quick 10 or 20%. And that's if news isn't announced. So a lot to consider with this one. Best of luck, guys. Also, WPCS. I don't love this stock. I'll show you why. Let's see if I can go back a couple months here. What day was it? Here it was. July 1st. Price had, I think, doubled that day. It opened at $1.68 and closed at $3.02. And I actually took a big trade here, maybe 10, 20% gain. I know that's not big considering the stock doubled, but it was nice. But fortunately, I closed out my position before the end of the session because they announced, I think, a sale of shares after hours. And the next day, price opened at $2. So the stock dropped 30%. My point is, I don't like to hold this one overnight because it has a history of, adverse news. So with today's gain, let's go to the intraday chart. Price surged from $1.20 and closed at $1.57 with a nice little bull flag at the end of the day. This is a bullish chart. I do think it has more upside potential, but I won't be a buyer until this $1.70 resistance level can be taken out. And it can be seen on today's intraday chart. And I think if we do a 60-minute, you can see it there. Actually, it's a daily. Okay. So right in there. Look at all that resistance at $1.70 right through the beginning part of July. It held prices at the end of July. But if it does manage to break above $1.70, I might buy in because this could quickly spike up to this next resistance level of 230, 240. That would be a nice little gain. And as you can see on July 30th, that did happen. Once $1.70 was taken out, price moved as high as 232. So that's what you can look out for tomorrow with this stock. Like I said, I wouldn't be a buyer unless $1.70 can be taken out. I know it's tempting to buy in this range, but what's your upside? 10 cents a share? You could pretty much say that your downside, if not more. $1.40, that's 17 cents lower. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys. I wish you the best of luck with your trading tomorrow.